That was the craziest shit ever.
What kind of soda was it?
I think it was actually like a Sprite or something. So you really looked at the camera? I looked at it. I actually looked. I'm saying I looked. I looked. I couldn't believe I was green can. So it was either ginger ale, Sprite, you know?
Oh man.
Sprite's not going to be happy about that.
I don't know. So you guys ready to start? Because I know you need to get rest. Tell me when you're ready to start. Well, you got to put on me. Tell me when you're ready to start. You already started?
Yeah. You were talking about dick pics on Snapchat. Not that it'll go on there, but for my own memory, that's going to be funny.
Why wouldn't you record that?
Well, apparently we already started. 3 straight G's bringing you Trill Talk with John Doomsday Howard. Fighting this week in UFC versus Tim Means, right?
Yep.
Versus Tim Means Business. That's the name he used to have. I'm keeping him with that nickname because I like it. We here with Thomas Cunningham, a.k.a. Spilled Bag of Ice. Ariel Kalani, he don't even get no other name, and Dominic Robinson, a.k.a. Fallen Angel, a.k.a. Greg Blackson. So we're bringing you Trill Talk Live. You guys already heard us talking about Snapchat. I'm getting in on it. He convinced me, and a bunch of dick pics. So
whether you want them or not.
Yeah, whether you want them or not. So first question, you're a Pisces, right?
Yes.
So am I. What do we have in common? Are we the greatest? That's my first question.
We're the greatest because we're the only signs that understands every sign. So that's why we deal with life a little bit different. You know, when we hear people's advice and how they act, and we see some crazy stuff, we can relate to every sign to a degree. When it's over the top like that, that's just over the top. But for the most part, we can relate.
You hear that? As a Virgo, this bores me, but
see, not your enemy right there.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not.
I want everybody to know Virgos is haters to Pisces. Bass Ruder, Kid Yamamoto, Pat Militech. We got,
but
it's
But let me tell you like this, right? Even though Virgo's are like that, you know, my being was a Virgo. I have so much love for her. I mean, we don't get along, but you know, she's a Virgo. We made beautiful babies. So even Virgo, the signs that we get hated on, we still got love for you. So.
Hey, man, that's all it is.
I'm a Cancer or whatever.
Shoot.
Another water sign, I guess.
Now,
not that I believe in that, but
well, I mean, you know, it
is
what it is, right? Now, has this camp been different for you because you're fighting on a Thursday as opposed to normally fighting on a Saturday? What adjustments have you had to make for this camp in particular?
We had to make that. We had to take into consideration it was Thursday. Changed a few training sessions to make the flow into a Thursday fight. But not too many different. The big difference for me is I switched camps for this fight. Not for my last fight. This is a whole new camp. I was with Y Crew for years, my whole UFC career. And now I'm with Sikyo Tong. So that's a big difference for me. But being with this camp specifically, it's more professional. It's a lot more things I didn't see, I didn't know about. I train like a true professional athlete, not only like a UFC fighter, but like an athlete. You know, they got me in great programs with a new strength conditioning coach, and the stuff he taught me, the stuff we're doing right now, the numbers I'm doing is insane. I'm 32 years old, you know, and right now I have a body of an 18-year-old because of this dude. You know, it's insane. The numbers I'm putting, the stuff I'm doing. His name is Mac Perry. It's called Straight for Skill, and it's just amazing. Plus, with that, Martha Lagarde, who owns Sikyo Tong, and the people I have connected with that, you know, with Tyson Charita, John Snyder, greatest manager in the world. So a lot of things is different, and now, as you see, it's just, I'm a whole different fighter, a whole different character.
Now, speaking about you being a different fighter, before your last fight, Joe Rogan made mention that before your last fight, you really never trained doing weight circuits and weight training for your fights. Mm-hmm. How's that been as far as now that this is your second fight that you train like that? How do you feel? I mean, you said you look great, but how does it feel now compared to before?
It feels amazing. It feels amazing. The numbers I'm putting up, my cardio is a little different. I'm not like, put it like this, even like we're doing training this week, you know, to stay fit, you know, we're doing high reps of rounds. And I'm not tired from the rounds, I'm tired from being, you know, food deprived and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like my coaches are getting tired holding my pads, which says a lot, and this guy holds pads with everybody. It's just the whole different being a pro athlete. It's totally different. The numbers are putting them to the shame. I'm doing, you know, 30-minute pads straight and looking at my coach like, I'm not tired, I'm just hungry. He was like, okay, well. Wow. And he pushed me, and we do burnout rounds and everything, so it's totally different. And what they telling me is it's just a start. You know, being a 32-year-old UFC fighter, is you always a little worried because, you know, you get the young athletes coming up, you want to keep up with them naturally. But now, I'm not only keeping up with them, the numbers I'm putting, I'm kind of surpassing them. You know, so that means I can still be relevant. So I'm excited, man. I'm very excited.
I have a question to elaborate on, if you can elaborate on his. What brought about the change from your last camp to this camp?
Real talk, man, and yeah, I get this little
Trill talk.
Trill talk. Me and White Crew, I've been so like, I'm a loyal guy.
Yeah.
You know, for years, I kind of had an idea I should have left White Crew because White Crew wasn't a self-sufficient camp like Sikh-Ton. It wasn't as, you know, profound. But because I'm a loyal guy, loyalty, I believe in loyalty. That's where I come from. That's where I grew up. You know, I am from the street. You know, so the only way you survive in the street is loyalty. So that's the way it was. But what happened is the owner of the school was disloyal to me.
Yeah.
And once he disloyal to me, I took it so in the fist. I was like, you know what? I've been so loyal to you when I should have left you in the first place when I blew up. You know, but I stayed loyal to you, and now you're gonna be disloyal to me, so I left him. You know, and that's what that made the change to coming out. You know, and fate has its way. Maybe it wasn't all in fate, but I mean, it's been looking good to the point. But the numbers up, better people around me, everything's good. You know, so it happened. But the real reason I didn't leave it is because loyalty. I'm a real loyal dude. I'm a real nice guy. You know, and even though it was a sacrifice to my career being loyal, I'm still that guy. But because he was disloyal to me, that's why I left. That's the only reason why I left, because he was disloyal.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I'm from the streets, and I'm a Pisces too, for all you astrology believers out there. But I started at AKA in way 2003, and I went there for Frank Shamrock. And I left with him. And the last thing I remember, Javier Mendez, he was like, you know, I appreciate you're the only one that's coming to talk to me before you leave. I know Frank's an idol of yours, but if you leave with him, you're going to find out what I know about him. And I almost stayed and I left. And within a year and a half of leaving, that's when AK blew up. And everybody there ended up in UFC. Yeah. And I missed the boat. And Frank ended up being disloyal to me. And I've been training myself predominantly since then until I just came to Vegas a year ago. And I never joined another team because I learned from Frank, and I don't see the loyalty there, you know. So I've been actually looking for what you just found with City on Long, but it's interesting that the same thing happened to you that happened to me.
Yeah, man, it sucks, man. So guys like us, it's just bad fate, man. You get bad luck with that, man. And it's so unfair that, you know, you're loyal to somebody, not loyal to you. It's like, dude, you told me to leave. I left because of you. Now you kind of ruined my career. You know, thank God I'm still at the age where I still have a chance in my career. But, you know, it's funny. We talk about among other fighters, you know, it takes years to find a camp that can make you, because it's not only being a good fighter, you just need a camp that's going to be there, have your back. You know, it's going to, as much loyalty and love you put into camp, you need that loyalty to put back. And I know as Pisces, we put so much hard work and loyalty. We like, you know, sacrifice money. We'll sacrifice so much just to get the hopefully the end result that we think we both want. But meanwhile, if we get like a scumbag, you know, he's getting all the benefits and I'm getting like the crumbs, and then when I need to, you know, get fed, I'm not getting fed. You know, and it could risk your career, you know, like, and that little bad luck could have messed up your whole career.
Yeah, changed the whole
career. So it's messed up, man. You know, we're like, damn, we're so loyal, and then we get thrashed for it. It's just the way we're built, but. You know, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. It's sad, man. It sucks,
like
man.
Loyalty could.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and you think someone, if they were really looking out for you, they'd even say like, "Hey, man, you know, we should bring someone else in.
Yeah.
You need more of this. You need more strength and conditioning. You need more whatever." And you know, it's kind of an ego. It sounds like an ego thing, where it's like, "No, I'm your coach, and that's it." And
yeah, and that's what it is in the MMA world, man. A lot of gyms have all these necessary ego. You'll think like, listen, like with my old coach, I told, listen, I'm loyal to you, but if we need help, bring your help. Like he would kind of bring help, but not just the right help. But my thing is like, I'm not gonna disloyal you. You know, if let's get this paper together. I'm saying, I'm not trying to like be like, oh, it's all me. Everything's perfect similar. My greatest man in the world, John Snyder, right, and the man right next to me, if you don't mind me on camera, right here. Right, I got nothing but love for this man. But the thing is why we link together, why we work so well, because we understand our part. Listen, you know, this is what you do, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying, and let's get the people together. He was in a situation when he needs something, like, oh, Doom, I don't want to explain. I straight told him, like, at the end of the day, I don't give a F about money. Let's get it together. I'm saying, I can't have you hurting or me hurting. If I'm hurting, help me out. If you're hurting, it's like, it's a rope game. You get to the top, you pass the rope, okay?
It should be.
And I'm saying, then I climb the ladder. Then you can't get to the top. Well, I give you the rope, and it's like, Mary's a ladder I can't climb. Mary, you know the secret to this ladder. But we keep that, and that's what we pull each other up.
Strength in numbers.
There you go. And that's what it is. And that's what we have to understand. That's why we work so damn well together. And it's that once you find something like that, you're good. But in this world today, man, it's hard to find. These cats don't know nothing but no loyalty, man.
They don't.
Especially MMA where I have so many egos. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, I remember one time I had a chance to train with Floyd Mayweather, you know, and I got hit on from one coach to the other. It was like, well, no, you kind of don't need that because I'm your coach, but I know for boxing, but for boxing for MMA, you're like, wait a minute, but this is Floyd Mayweather. He knows something you don't know.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, you know, but it's just that type of ego, and here we're fighters, and we're the ones who don't have the most ego. We don't really care. We just want to fight and get to the goal, which is getting our belt. You know, and what happens is you get loyal to that certain person and you trust in them to get the belt. But meanwhile, they tell you everything you want to hear to get you to a certain place, and then when they get there, they're just like, oh, okay, I can't help you anymore. It's messed up, man. It's crazy.
What's crazy is that the sport of MMA has only been around for like 20, 22 years, you know, the UFC. So you would think there really shouldn't be too much ego involved in it, considering it's really only been a generation and a half that has grown up with this sport, and you figure more people want to help. Given where you are now, because you seem like you're in a good place with your camp and the people around you, when you were younger, do you think that how your mindset was when you were younger as a fighter, do you think that you would have benefited more then, or do you think, you know what, as great as this camp is, at that particular point in time in my life, I wouldn't have been the right person to be involved with these guys yet, like I am now? Do you see that there's a difference, or do you wish, hey, I wish I would have met them 10 years ago?
I wish I would have met them 10 years ago and have that. If I had met them 10 years ago, I'd be a world champion right now.
I know.
Right, because it's just the stuff I'm doing. The stuff I'm doing 32, I kept telling them, wow, I was young, I was a way better athlete. So I couldn't imagine. I was like, you know, I got to UFC when I was 26, so I couldn't imagine all the stuff I've been doing. You know, I started at 18, you know, and I could have done so many numbers, but it's just luck has it that I didn't have the path wasn't open up for me to go there yet. You know, I just believe in fate. I believe love and faith. I believe in religion and God, but I believe in love and faith. Fate happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. But had it been 10 years ago, I'm in the next John Jones, easy. I'm in the stuff I could have been doing, and oh my goodness, bro. Like my ability when I was a kid, man. Like if you see some of the fights, always doing backflips or front flips.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't know they keep ability. What type of athlete I am, man. Like I'm 32 years old. I don't do it now because you know I don't want to risk my joints. But I can still do a backflip. I could do a no hand buffer, a no hand aerial. You know, I studied capoeira. The stuff I could do, you know, a flip in the air, land on one hand to a cartwheel to all spin, all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, right. I'm saying, man, I like that too because I watch Kung Fu and that used to excite me. So that, you know, that's why it's stuff that I like to learn. But as a kid, I was insane. I was doing backflip, front flip. I could do a backflip, front flip, cartwheel. Insane, you know. But it's just I wasn't connected right to the right camp. So it's like, you know, it sucked. I do wish I started with this camp 10 years ago when I first got to the UFC, or when I first started MMA actually. But you know, things happen for a reason, and I'm just happy to be at the right place now.
You know what? It's funny listening to you. It's just like, and he's known me a long time. It's almost like hearing myself.
The story.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I was super flexible. Always watched martial arts, just naturally strong, all this stuff. And even growing up, when I got into MMA, you know, like I've done everything on my own. That's how I have such a huge fan base. I had, you know, I met this guy through doing it. I had 2 spine surgeries. My spine was messed up. Half of my body didn't work. And I was fighting guys. I beat like deep champion, Shudo champion, like 6 UFC guys, and on my own, and promoting myself. And I've just never making that next step because I didn't have the team behind me, and I didn't have, you know, I don't have management. And just right now, I'm starting to meet people at 33.75, you know, hella late in life, that seem like the right people, like a guy like him, how you guys have understanding. You know, I train at Floyd's gym now, and I have a coach there. And it's a lot of coaches there. I ain't gonna be on air, but it's just I chose not to be with them, but I met a guy that I choose to be with. And now there's a guy, Casey Halstead, that's opening the 10th Planet out here that used to run Rain. And he's a guy, you know, we haven't even trained together yet. The gym is even open, and he checks on me in my regular life, and that shows me something, you know? And I'm like, why am I finding this late? But it's like you said, I believe things happen for a reason, and it's weird. I'm physically older, but when I look back on this stuff, I wouldn't change it because I feel like I learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
My question to you is, do you feel like in retrospect, if you could go back in the past, would you change everything or some things? And what things would you change or what would you keep the same, even if it turned out not the way?
I would change, man. Definitely change the camp. I would change the people behind me. My whole career, man, I always have to prove myself, and I think you have the same situation. Like every camp we go to, you know, we get our ass handed to, but for some reason we just outgrow everybody. We just do better than everybody, and we be in situations where, all right, my black belt, I'll put him in situations where I know I can tap him out, but everybody's watching us, and out of respect, I don't. I look dead in his eyes, I'm looking like, you know I can finish you. You know I could have took your heart and soul from away from you. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna show face in front of your whole students, right? But the switch off is, listen, I'm doing this, but I want you to remain my trainer and still help me grow. I don't want you to shun me. And I think what happens with us is, when we put people in that position and they get threatened, like, oh my goodness, this kid can finish me already? He's only been here for a year or two and he's already beat me, right? That instead of being proud, take.
They do.
It's
I have a problem holding back in sparring.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe you have to spar like 100%.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? It's the dumbest thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
And the funny thing is, I went to Duke for biological processes, so I studied the body a lot. So I've always been anti-impact, you know? And so I go light, and I spar all these UFC guys, these World Series guys, I get the better of them and everything. And this is like going light. And then I start hearing around town, you know, fighters, a lot of them run their mouth like girls. And I start hearing like, oh, Don can't do this, Don. I'm like, I beat these guys up and grappling and sparring. And then they're like, oh, I held them down the whole time. I'm like, wait, I went on my back and worked the guard. You know,
yes!
And nothing happened.
Oh my God,
and it's just weird. Now going into 2016, I've been telling her, I'm like, I'm just going to start beating them up, you know, just... beating them up so they know.
I gotta tell you something. Me and you are kindred spirits. I'm about to show you something before you up. So I see you have a Buddha, right? Mm-hmm. All right, now check this out. I don't have it on because I was sleeping. This is my Buddha.
I see you wearing before. I saw you wearing one before. That was super dope. I was
check
going
this
to ask
out.
you about.
Right here on camera live, right? I think literally, right? We just became best ass friends after this. We hang together.
And what are you? March what?
Oh, March 1st.
Me too.
Look at that shit! We just became best friends. Isn't that insane? That's fucking insane. I was looking at him talking, this motherfucker has a Buddha on. I got my Buddha right there, yo. Kindred spirits.
There's too much power in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of power. I feel so much, yo. I got to fight a couple of them cut away, but the energy, I feel so much better. He just made my day better. So
question, we get you in this too. You're a manager, right?
Yes.
How long have you been managing?
3 years.
And what brought you guys together?
We actually worked together at the old school, and I kind of saw his passion for, you know, what he was doing, and we started talking, and just really hit it off, and we saw eye to eye on a lot of things. Loyalty being number one, because I mean, especially in this game, I actually used to work in the music industry, and there's just no loyalty anywhere. You can't find it. It's like, you know, and with me and John, it's a rarity to actually see the fact that, you know, two people coming together and just going about things and not worrying about the money, not worrying about the fame, not worrying about the success, and just doing it because you care about the person and you want to see them strive and you want to see them succeed.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear. The reason I never had a manager is because all the guys, I'm not even going to say their name, I've learned not to say shit now. You know, I learned not to do anything now. I was going, you know, Tough That's on?
Yeah.
I was on that, and then they took me off for putting a picture of an anime girl on my social network. But that's another story. So now I don't do shit no more. You know, they've got like 3 talks with me. So
I got so much trouble with you. I used to get so much trouble with UFC putting certain things on.
Yeah,
because it's like, I'm like, oh, don't do that. But I used to get mad about is I see other people doing it.
And it don't matter.
It don't matter. And I don't say nothing. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I know the game now. But that's the thing is, we do something like, well, it's not that serious, you know. But I used to get so much trouble all with. Oh my goodness.
I never knew you could be in as much trouble. I could have been on Tough, and that Tough sucked. I would have wiped everybody out. I could have, you know, and I'm just watching it like, damn, for an anime picture, you know, but you can't do anything. They told me some of the reasons why it made sense, but some of it I'm like, okay, it doesn't apply to everybody, but, you know, it's weird. But back to the management thing, without saying their names, a lot of the big managers now I had interactions with before they even had the guys they had, and I was like, these guys are scumbags. And, you know, growing up on the street, you know, so it's refreshing to hear somebody, a manager, even speak about loyalty, you know, because when I used to try to give these guys a chance, because I don't like to judge, I would get little contracts where I'm like, okay, it's a test contract for a few months, and every time they would fail the test. The same ways every time, you know, like guys would have me get ready for fights, tell me the fights were off, like 2 days before the fight, you know, and people, I would like get sponsors on my own after they say I can, and then they would just ask for the money for it after saying they only get the money for the sponsor. It's just weird. So I respect you for even saying the word.
I'm never going to find this the rest of my career. Never mind the rest of his career. I'm never going to find this the rest of my career. It's, you know, the connection that we established, it's just something that we can't break. He understands his position, and that's why we do so well together. He goes in there, he's the fighter. Anything pertaining to business, someone walks up to him, tries to be a little snake in the grass. Hey, John, you know, I got a great opportunity. Cool. Go talk to John Snyder. Oh, yeah, but you don't understand, man. Cool. Go talk to John Snyder. So it's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's just, I'm not going to find that again, and I appreciate it.
We got to holler at
now.
Yes, sir.
Now, not trying to get anybody in trouble, but just out of curiosity from a manager position.
Clearly trying to get them in trouble.
No, I'm really not.
I'm trying to get in trouble.
I know. He's going to trying to do.
He's going to be like, do you have any Funyuns? He's got a problem.
That reminds me when someone says, like, no offense. Obviously.
It's my offensive.
All right. Let's hear it.
But being a manager, now that the UFC has this Reebok deal, does it make it in some ways easier for you to kind of market your fighter as far as not having to go out there and get all these sponsors? Or is it a little bit more difficult now that now I'm kind of limited on what I can do? Well, what's those
I don't, there's a lot of barriers, and there's always going to be more and more as time goes on. And I mean, you know, especially with the new outfitting policy implemented by Reebok, it's, you know, obviously it's difficult not being able to put a sponsor on banner, but I mean, you know, off camera, there's just so much, like, people just don't see. Everybody gets to see the end result. Yeah. They don't see the fight camp. They don't see the sponsorship. They don't see the marketing deals. They don't see, like, you know, everything in the background. All they see is, you know, I'm gonna flip on my TV right now, and these two animals are going at each other, and it's entertaining to me. Yeah. But at the end of the day, no. I think, you know, there's a lot that can be done. You know, for instance, a couple months ago, we were hanging out with Waka Flocka. It's one of our new friends now. He's possibly flying out for the fight. You know, like, so I make connections. I establish, you know, I make new sponsorships. So, like, again, like, working in the music industry, like, it kind of gave me, like, an advantage, an edge, where I can push forward and utilize that to bring John to the next level.
Are we going to be seeing him in any upcoming music videos or whatnot? Just hey.
We're certainly going to try that.
Yeah, we have little secrets maybe, man. Real quick, so the whole interview, I thought I had the Reebok shirt on my nose, so UFC, when you see this, don't get mad at the UFC. Reebok, I love Reebok.
He put it on real quick too.
I'm sure I do it. No, actually, no, I like Reebok. The Reebok deal people complain about, I love it, man.
What about the clothes? Come on.
Clothes. The clothes do feel like Hunger Games. I gotta talk to guys. Reebok, I love the gear, but the gear do feel like Hunger Games. But it makes me fight for a different mindset, because I don't feel like I'm fighting for a spot. I'm fighting for my life. So I fight completely different. Like if I kill somebody because of Hunger Games.
There you go.
The good thing you can actually say about Reebok is they always ask their fighters. They say, you know, what do you think of the clothes? Like, what do you think? Anytime that John has another fight, goes down to the equipment manager, shout out J Rudd, and you know he's constantly asking, you know, like, is that too long? Is that too short? So, like, they'll adjust the clothes as you go on.
They need to let everybody kind of design their own thing. Like, hey, how do you want your stuff to look? And so everybody look different. It looked like Power Rangers fighting themselves. So they're like it looked like good guys versus good guys. Yeah, you know? It's kind of
especially with the white shorts that kept that one fight where the white shorts kept smudging, the logos kept smudging, and it looked like, you know, whoever had the white shorts on was pooping their pants. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, we got to fix that. That's going to be a problem.
I wasn't too happy about that, actually.
Yeah,
not at all. Yeah, not at all.
I don't know. Maybe the people who put the logos on didn't let
So
the
what you got?
paint dry
What
or
you
whatever.
got, Spill? Spill's sitting over here all shy. He writes for the UFC, and look, he asking the least questions.
You know, well, I don't want to step on any toes.
Ain't no toes.
So
man.
what? All right, I just did an interview with Tim Means just on Friday. So, what do you think? What's the? Do you have a game plan? Tim says he doesn't game plan.
I was kind of shocked Tim Means was talking trash, man, the way he was, because I did nothing but respectful to him, but I'm gonna see him in the cage.
What was he saying?
I'm saying in the cage like, oh, I don't respect John Howard. I'm not here for respect. I'm here for the win, all this, and you know, I've been doing this for so long. That don't bother me. I'm gonna laugh. You know, I'm like, all right, because now that you put pressure on yourself, all that trash you talk, you better back it up Thursday. Yeah, that's like, cause now I'm on a different fighter. You know, I'm on better than I was, and just to put this out there, okay. You fought Matt Brown, and yeah, you knocked him down, congratulations, but you got finished in the first round. I fought Matt Brown, and people, after seeing that fight, they think I beat him. Yeah. They think I beat him. So I hope you watch that fight at least, because, you know, that was I was impressed that you knocked Matt Brown down, but you couldn't finish him, and the result is he finished you in the first round. Matt Brown can't finish me in the first round, so we're going to see what happens. I'm really interested now. You know, the pressure's on you. You know, I'm just putting it out there for the fans, and I know the fans are going to watch the Matt Brown versus John Howard fight and see what I did to Matt Brown. Totally different fight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only one of the guys that can say I took Matt Brown to decision, and on a certain judgment call, I could have beat him. Could have went my way.
And not to mention, this is from a completely different camp.
Yeah. This is a different camp, different time. I wasn't that John Howard, you know, flat-footed, heavy, and stubborn, you know, stubborn only to Muay Thai. I'm a new John Howard. My horizon is open. So we're going to see. I mean, I don't care. I love when people trash talk, because now I'm like, all right, well, prove it. Prove it. You can see what happens. And trust me, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to put my hands on you. I was like, I'm not even emotional. I'm not pissed. But if you stun, you better hope that pulls me off so fast, because I ain't stopping. I'm going to break your face in the first chance I get.
Now, if you pick up this victory, you thinking about a rematch with Matt Brown now that you got a new camp, you training differently, you think you will be ready to take on that, or do you think one more fight after this before I really step it up to get one of the top guys?
I think one more fight to step it up, man. There's a lot of rematches I want to get, but I want to build myself, and specifically build myself with this camp. I know I can't be selfish and go on my own personal fidelity. And not only Matt Brown, is really like a Flair. I want a rematch with him. Thiago Alves, a lot of guys who I lost to, and I could have did better, and now I have a better camp. I could do better now, but that's selfish to me. That's my thing. My thing is I need to build myself up, you know, for the reputation of the camp and myself, saying, proof to the camp, listen, I'm still a relevant fighter. I still could be around. So my plan is to give a few fights, build myself back up with the camp, then to have the confidence back of me, so when I can be like, all right, you know, those fights I lost, I want a rematch now. They're like, okay, now we support you. Now we have you, because their concern is we want to build you with us. We want to see what your flaws are. They want to see how I fight. They still studying me. You know, they saw my whole career, but they want to see how I'm fighting out with them. How do I listen when it cuts to the man? How do I cut weight with them? How do I this and that? They need to learn them fully, and I extend that because I need to have a corner who knows me 100%, that know me like 80%. But once they know me 100%, I'm like, okay, I want this guy and that guy. And then we're going for heads. So trust me, all the losses I lost in the UFC, you know, except for the guys that retired, I'm coming after for.
Don't go after Alves. You would never fight him. You'd just be injured.
Yeah.
Or stay injured all the time.
But you know what?
You would be out of a payday,
right?
Man.
But you know what the problem with Alves is, he's trying to switch weights. He's trying to go 55.
Yeah, he's trying to cut down now.
And I'm like, I don't care who you are, especially Alves' history. I'm like, dude, you're gonna injure yourself. Everybody knows cutting weight, you're more prone to injury. You know, but he's a big dude. I was like, at 55, I'm like, I got to see this. And I'm surprised he got injured because he's trying to make 55. I don't see Thiago Alves making 55, especially with the new policy we have.
Yeah, that's what we
No way, but like, nah, I told like, I mean, I like Thiago. We was in Boston, we came for the expo, we hung out, you know, we had some fun. But Godspeed if he can make 55, because I can't make 55, you know. But when I heard he was injured, I was like, I'm not surprised, because making 55, that has to be hell for him. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
That's amazing, even considering trying it. But
so
I know why.
Speaking of past opponents, inside UFC or outside, who was your toughest opponent? Why and what did you learn from it? Like as a person, not even as a person and as a fighter. What did you take from that fight?
Believe it or not, my toughest opponent and the loss I respect most is T.R. Elvis. I was everybody knows I was a Muay Thai stubborn fighter. You know, I thought I had the best Muay Thai. I went to Thailand, trained with some of the best guys. What the real story is, I went to Thailand training with Sensei, some high level guys, and I gave them the business. So I was like, oh man, if I could do Muay Thai and beat them, you know, I was like, yeah. Then the coach I had really fed that in my head and made me believe only Muay Thai was the best. But after fighting T.R. his style was more of a Dutch style, and I was taught not to respect it. So, because I didn't respect it, that's why I got beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get leg kicks from the toughest guy in Thailand, the biggest guys and everything. I was like, oh, I can eat a leg kick. When T.R. was leg kicking me, I was like, holy shit.
Totally different ball game.
So a whole different ball game. I was like, bam! I was like, oh my god. Why did that fucking hurt like that? I was like, holy shit. The Dutch do kick harder.
Baseball bats and shit.
Yeah, dude.
Kick hard.
I was like, bam! I was like, oh shit.
So what do you think the difference was of his kicks compared to the Tiger?
Alright, what he does, he has like swivel hips. So what he does is just he does where I kick, I just open my hip and whip. What he does is he opens his hip while he puts his hip behind him first, then whips it. I never knew that style because I was never open to it. So when I saw him kick, what he does is he doesn't just whip his hip. He whips his hip back here, like it was where he pops it back here. I saw it popped out, and when his leg came, the power he generated, I was just so surprised. I mean, thank God I was tough enough to survive 15 minutes, but it was 15 minutes of getting my leg chopped off from a baseball bat.
Damn.
You know, so that, I mean, that's why I learned not to be stubborn to other arts, and that's why being with this camp offers Dutch Muay Thai, Savant, so many different styles, boxing, that you can't be stubborn to one art no more. And that's what I like about it, and that's what I needed, not being one stubborn to one specific art and hinder myself. Now that's not happening.
So he just opened your mind.
Oh yeah, he opened my mind to be more fluid and not to be stubborn to other arts. Don't think one art is this. That's some old school stuff. You can't do that more. I gotta evolve with the rest of the fighters.
Yeah, I think when Machida came along, nobody was like really worried too much about karate. It was kind of like, oh, you know, if you're an MMA fighter, you have your wrestling, your jiu-jitsu, your boxing. That's it. That's good. And then, you know, someone like Machida came in who's a high-level karate guy, and people are like, we don't know how to deal with this. So it kind of shows that, you know, you could probably learn even, you know, stupid things like Aikido. You could probably learn something from it.
Yeah.
I'm all about that, Stevens.
Because this is something you could talk. I mean, even Enzo Silva, he said he's the one that they said he called Steven McGraw and asked him for coaching.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean.
And people laugh
now
at that.
Now he's making fun of him. Now.
Yeah.
But people laugh at that. But I thought it was like, well, that's kind of cool that, you know, he would say like, hey, let me see, maybe there's something there. Out of all the stupid hand slapping, maybe there's a technique in there that I can use.
Well, if you look at every art, most of them, if you trace their origins, were some form of combative thing, you know, in history, like the Muay Thai was made from Louis Baran because the Thais defended themselves from Burma.
Right.
You know, so if you backtrack everything, it comes from somewhere. So there's probably is something you could get from everything. Being an older athlete myself, I watch people in MMA, guys get 32, and it's like, oh, their career is coming down to an end. And me watching it, and you know, studying the body a lot, I look at it from a different perspective. I see guys who they don't eat right. Yeah. You know, they smoke, they drink, they party, they do drugs, they knock their brain cells out, and they stagnate in skill. So that's the way I look at it. So, you know, I don't see it as like 32, 33, 34 getting old, because if that was the case, guys like Jerry Rice or Bernard Hopkins or Floyd Mayweather wouldn't exist. If you look at Bernard, I remember an interview I saw. You know, he's beating all the young champs. Yeah. And I remember the interview, they were like, how are you this old and you beating all the young champs? And he was like, they might be bigger and stronger and faster, but they don't know the art. And that's why I always beat him. And then he finally loses to Kovalev. But if you look at it, he's the one guy that didn't get knocked out of all these guys he's knocking out. Yeah. And so I've always been like, man, I ain't in UFC yet. I'm almost there. I'm older, but I think I could go to my 40s or something. Being close in age, how do you feel now being older Do you feel like you can still keep going now that you're with this new camp and you're learning things and different things about the body? Or do you feel like you are winding down? And I know it's a weird question before a fight, but, you know.
Honestly, I feel like I'm in my prime. I'm from the old school, man. Randy Couture, Randy Couture started MMA at 28.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so did Bash Ruler.
Yeah, exactly. They started.
Cormier, what, 30?
30 something. Yeah, exactly. And look at the stuff they did. You know, they were beating kids left and right. You know, even Randy Couture have a wrestling advantage. It doesn't matter. He was still an older man doing what he was doing. And he said, no, I'm just in my prime, dude. These kids, yeah, they're athletic, but they don't understand they don't have the power and control we have as the age comes with it. But I think I'm in my prime, man. I mean, the old school fighters chucked it down on them. Look at what they did. Randy Couture started fighting at 44.
Do you think mindset has a lot? Because, you know, like our generation, we have a different, you know, times are changing fast. You know, they used to say things change per generation. Now it seems like everybody's totally different. Every 5-6 years, it's like everybody's different. Do you think the mindset of people nowadays, you know, everybody's entitled.
Yeah.
Do you think that plays a role to these young kids? Like they don't work as hard, they just want it without the work?
Yeah, and I think that plays a part, and I think that's why we have advantage. And this is why. We came in a time group where MMA, the way MMA was learned, it was more disciplined. It wasn't like, you didn't learn the art of MMA. You learned jiu-jitsu, you learned Muay Thai, boxing. You separate all the arts, then put it together. The new age don't do that no more. They don't, and matter of fact, the new kids don't have a base to go to. Remember, you gotta have to go to base, you gotta have a wrestling base, taekwondo base. You gotta have a base. In the worst case scenario, you always run back to your base. They have no base. You know what I'm saying? All they do is they cram all these arts together. They try to create the art of MMA into one and just fight like that. It's like, yeah, but until you meet someone who has the same skill set but have a good base like wrestling, you can't out-wrestle them, and that's what happens. And that's what happens with us. My base is boxing. I go striking. So that's always my base. No matter where I go to in trouble, I go back to my base. Like, all right, if I can't do this, this is where I'm at. You know, I can hang with King 1 kickboxing champions, stuff like that. So that's my base. No matter what I do, it's always my base. I can wrestle in jiu-jitsu, but when I get in trouble, like, damn, I need to go somewhere where I'm most comfortable at. Even, like, it's one of those things when you get hit so hard, you're like, oh, what did I do? Where did I go to? Wrestlers go to wrestling, you know, boxers go to boxing, stuff like this. If I get hit so hard and I can't see nothing, I know my base, all right, go back to my striking. That's my base. A lot of kids don't have that. They just do the sport of MMA and think like, oh yeah, I'm just good everywhere. Yeah, but you need to build some things, right? And I still do it to this day. I just get my brown belt in jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm a crew in Muay Thai. I'm still building my separate base, then put it together. You know, a lot of kids don't do that. They just do MMA.
And what about regular life? Do you feel that extends? You know, like just in general, people, like if you look at like Ray Robinson, Jack Johnson, all those guys, you look at it, like wrestling now, what is it, 3 2-minute rounds or whatever?
Yeah.
And back in the days, people, a long time ago, they used to say they wrestled for hours. And you know, boxing used to be 15, 20 rounds. Now it's 10 and people get tired.
Yeah.
Back then they didn't. And they had less technology then too, but it was the work ethic. Do you think that the outside, regular, everyday life mentality of these younger kids plays into the fights as well and how they train and everything?
Yes, because everybody gets so sports efficient. Oh, if you don't have this in your body, enough water, don't train. No, then you're right. They have the entitled to a body. We come from a country, time frame where we didn't have that. It's like, listen, yeah, I know it sucks, but you gotta do it.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying?
You grew up poor.
Yeah, I grew up poor.
Yeah, I grew up poor too. What is that? Has that helped you in
big time. Big time.
In what ways?
Big time. It has me right now. So when I was poor, man, we had this meal called, it was tuna fish and hot sauce. Right? Right? But you laugh, but it's the best thing ever. That's all, you know,
I laugh because I think that's like a traditional thing before. Like that's what we all had.
Yeah.
I had with my sister.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, oh yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, so this is the days we ordered up. So I was telling him, he said, what you gonna eat? I said, I'm gonna get some watermelon and tuna fish. He's like, that's it. I said, bro. I said, trust me, right? So if you see right there, that's my tuna fish and hot sauce.
Yeah, right there.
Okay. So it is. When I cut weight and starving, I'm hurting. He sees me, dude, I see you hurting. I was like, dude, I grew up like this. But this is nothing. I don't feel entitled to it. I don't feel. I had kids like, oh, I had to cut 5 pounds a day, all this. Meanwhile, I'm still got like 12 pounds to go. But this ain't nothing. Yeah. You know, and you know, tuna fish and hot sauce for dinner. Awesome meal. You should see. You see, like that's all I can eat. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm chilling. I was like, what? I was like, dude, you know about this? You know how you have one of those meals you grew up on? It makes you smell like, wow, this is how I used to survive and everything.
Exactly.
That's one thing about cutting weight, because it makes me appreciate where I come from. But it lets me know, like, this is how I survived before, so it's no big deal. Me making this weight and eating like this is no big deal. I don't even though I make good money, I'm doing all these big things, I'm still humble enough to remember where I come from and be happy like, you know what? This is where I came from, you know, and I can still enjoy this meal. Even though I could go buy a stick fillet somewhere if I wanted to, but I still enjoy this because this is where I come from, you know. And a lot of people forget about that. They get to a certain point in their life, they get famous and everything, and forget where they come from. I never forget where I come from. You know, matter of fact, me being from Dorchester, I still live in Dorchester. Right? I had UFC staff. Why you still live in Dorchester? I was like, because you know what? I feel more protected inside my neighborhood than outside. That's what I tell them. They're like, oh yeah, well, because we have a new program with Sada.
Especially these days.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Sada, they're like Sada might come knock on your door. I said, oh, they can come to my door, but I'm not sure they want to go to Dorchester.
They said 6 o'clock in the morning. What time?
What time? 6 o'clock in the morning. They about to make sure it's light outside. They see somebody that's supposed to be out there. I'm like, yo, what you doing here, son?
Hey, for real, man.
That's what people tell me, like, and yes, I got robbed before in Dorchester, like stuff like that. Now I'm in a neighborhood where I know everybody and everything's everything, and the way the world's going, I'm more safe I feel in my neighborhood. I know the respect for my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yo, I know my neighbors. Yo, what's up? What's up? Yo, you see this? All right, and we have a street code where I come from, so it's not like, and I'm not. It's no ego or nothing like that. It's just this is where I'm from. When that's when your comfort zone. Who cares?
Yeah, it's true.